Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something that's reshaping enterprise automation across Europe: Agentic AI in production. We're talking about multi-agent systems, orchestration, compliance, the real stuff that's powering businesses right now, not just in labs anymore.
Thanks, Alex. And what's really striking is the timeline here. We're not talking about some distant future. McKinsey's data shows that by 2026, 60% of enterprise automation will rely on orchestrated multi-agent workflows. That's a massive shift from the single-task chatbots everyone's been building.
Right. So let's unpack what Agentic AI actually is, because I think there's a lot of confusion out there. What makes an agent different from a chatbot?
Great question. A chatbot responds to queries. It's reactive. An agent acts autonomously within boundaries. Think about it. A customer service agent doesn't just answer FAQs. It investigates billing systems, checks inventory, initiates refunds, makes decisions. It's decision-making architecture, not just text generation.
So the agent is actually doing things, not just talking about them. And I'm guessing there's some real business impact numbers here?
Absolutely. Forrester's 2025 research shows enterprises deploying agentic workflows cut operational costs by 35 to 50% and improve first contact resolution rates by 40%. Those aren't marginal improvements. That's transformational ROI.
And adoption is accelerating. You mentioned Gartner's forecast. 70% of enterprise software will have embedded agentic capabilities by 2027. That's jumping from 15% just a few years ago. What's driving that speed?
3 things. First, cost compression. Agents handle 70 to 90% of routine workflows without human review. Second, speed. Multi-step processes that used to take hours now complete in seconds. And third, scalability. One agent framework can manage thousands of concurrent interactions across email, chat, voice, web.
That's the economics making sense. But here's where it gets interesting for European organizations: the EU AI Act. How does that actually factor into the competitive advantage?
This is huge. Companies building agentic systems with governance, bias testing, and explainability built in from day one have a competitive moat. Their competitors are scrambling to retrofit compliance into systems that weren't designed for it. EU-compliant agentic systems can operate across all EU markets immediately.
So, early compliance is actually a business advantage, not just a regulatory checkbox. Now let's talk about the architecture. How do you actually build these multi-agent systems? There's orchestration involved, right?
Yes, orchestration is critical. You need layers that route tasks, manage state across agents, resolve conflicts, and maintain accountability. There are 3 dominant patterns. Sequential orchestration is straightforward. Agent A finishes, passes output to Agent B, works for linear workflows.
That's like an assembly line. What about more complex scenarios?
Hierarchical orchestration. A supervisor agent delegates to specialist agents and aggregates results. Perfect for complex decisions that need multiple domains: compliance, technical expertise, customer experience all at once. And then there's peer-to-peer, where agents negotiate without central control, but that's less common in enterprise because you lose visibility.
And which one plays best with EU AI Act requirements?
Hierarchical. A central supervisor can document every decision, flag high-stakes outcomes, and explain reasoning to regulators. It's transparent by design. That's what compliance really needs: visibility into the decision chain.
Makes sense. Behind all of this, you also need infrastructure. What does that actually look like?
You need message queues, RabbitMQ, Kafka, for async communication and audit trails that never get lost. Distributed state stores like Redis or DynamoDB, so agents share context reliably. And observability pipelines using tools like OpenTelemetry to track every single agent action for compliance audits. Without this, you have brittle systems that fail silently and give auditors nothing to review.
So infrastructure isn't optional. It's part of building compliant systems. Now, developing these agents themselves, is that from scratch, or are there frameworks teams should be using?
Building from scratch is expensive and error-prone. You want production-grade agent SDKs and development frameworks. They abstract away the complexity of orchestration, state management, error handling. Teams can focus on agent behavior and evaluation rather than plumbing.
Evaluation. That's another big piece. How do you actually know if your agents are performing well? What does that look like in practice?
That's where agent evaluation frameworks come in. You're not just looking at accuracy like you would with a classifier. You're measuring task completion, decision quality, cost per interaction, whether the agent escalated appropriately, whether its reasoning is explainable. And crucially, you need bias testing across demographic groups to ensure the agent isn't discriminating.
So evaluation is multidimensional, not just did it get the answer right.
Exactly. An agent might get high accuracy on standard benchmarks but fail catastrophically on edge cases, or show bias against certain user groups. Real evaluation is thorough, domain-specific, and happens continuously in production, not just in testing.
What about customer service automation specifically? That seems like a high-stakes area where agents are interacting with real customers.
Customer service is probably where multi-agent systems create the most immediate value, but also where governance matters most. An agent handling billing disputes has to be transparent about its decisions, escalate correctly when needed, and never discriminate. Orchestration with a human in the loop at the right escalation points is essential.
So you're not replacing human judgment entirely. You're automating the routine parts and keeping humans for the nuanced decisions.
Exactly. The best agentic systems are hybrid. Agents handle 70, 80, 90% of cases autonomously, but they flag edge cases, high-stakes decisions, or situations outside their training immediately. That keeps costs down while maintaining quality and accountability.
Let's talk workflow automation more broadly. Beyond customer service, where else do multi-agent systems add value?
Sales automation is huge. Agents qualify leads, schedule calls, prepare briefing documents, all without human intervention. Marketing execution, agents manage campaigns, track performance, adjust targeting. Complex internal workflows too, procurement, compliance reviews, data processing. Basically anywhere there's a sequence of routine decisions and API calls, agents add value.
And the governance piece. How do organizations actually ensure these systems stay compliant as they evolve and learn?
This is critical. You need continuous monitoring, not one-time compliance checks. Log every agent decision. Run bias audits regularly. Version your agent behavior and training data so you can explain what changed. Have clear escalation protocols for decisions that breach thresholds. And document everything for regulators.
It sounds like governance is embedded throughout the system, not tacked on at the end.
Absolutely. If you try to bolt compliance on afterward, you'll fail. Compliance-first architecture, thinking about explainability, auditability, fairness from day one, is cheaper and more effective than retrofitting.
For organizations just starting out with multi-agent systems, what's the most important first step?
Understand your use case deeply. Don't just jump into building because agentic systems are hot. Pick a workflow that's routine, high volume, and low risk initially. Use a production-grade framework rather than building custom. Start with evaluation and governance from day one, and be clear about where humans stay in the loop.
So it's not about being first to market. It's about being first to market intelligently. Start small, build right, learn, then scale.
Exactly. The organizations winning with Agentic AI aren't taking shortcuts. They're investing in architecture, evaluation, and governance up front. That pays dividends.
This has been fantastic. For listeners who want to dive deeper into Agentic AI in production, orchestration patterns, SDKs, evaluation frameworks, EU compliance requirements, the full article is on etherlink.ai. Go check it out, and we'll be back next week with another deep dive. Thanks for tuning in to EtherLink AI Insights.
Thanks, Alex. And if you're building agentic systems, stay thoughtful about governance. It'll save you headaches later.